we see there, it was the blink in relation to the oscillating wings of a monarch butterfly. As it flutters through the fields, we see with this face comes the death, yes. That would be where trade winds have knocked the butterfly to the ground, and it has been smashed upon the wheat that feeds the masses. That would be the bottled fish. You see, with this fish, you'll find that long dollops of cream cheese would fall upon the fish in the bottle as it's poured upon a plate. Now, with that, you see the excruciating yet erotic way in which the fish would lure the female, shall we say, to a horizontal position. And there we would have the biting jaws of a bear. Now, with this face, he is reminiscing about, I think it was when he was 4 or 5. And his grandfather had taken him out to show him the manly style of boxing. Upon this path that they took, he ended with coming across a bear. And as you see right there, that's the bear. And his grandfather, with the nose you see, his grandfather was unaware that the bear had defecated in the path. Now, his grandfather stood in the defecation, and this young lad right here, he laughed. And then he cried. Yes, that would be, he was laughing until he cried. And, yes,
Could you do that one again? I made it turn my head.
I noticed from this facial gesture, he's expressing the early shelled vehicle he used to ride at the age of 3. It was of a tortoise or a turtle form. He would ride down the driveway and into the street. Cars going by often frightened him, but as you see from the puckering of and motioning of the mouth, he often had a great deal of contact with the cars. He loved his turtle. Yes, and with this, he found that he could not enter into the street. And here we move on to age 7, where he first was forced to eat every last drop of the liver off of his plate. As he swallowed, he found himself eating ill, and he would chew it till his nostrils would flare, and he'd find his gullet was about to empty onto his plate. Now, as we see there, he was not interested in eating it a second time. Here we have an example of a 14-year-old coming across his first feminine nipple. As he placed his lips upon the nipple, he found he could not breathe. So, he stood there for a few minutes, and then he stood back and got a breath. Yes, this is a perfect example of how, if he were to love this woman, he would have spent the rest of his life with her. But he found that she was not to his liking. He is suffocated in her presence, and found that he would be better off not continuing the relationship. This is a prime example of a 22-year-old, where when he found himself in the streets of New Mexico, in a little Juarez town, he would eat from, was it baskets? I'm not sure, some kind of container was described there. He would eat the scraps, leftover pottery, yes, scraps left over from baked moose. Now, he met a lovely 4-foot-tall Mexican lady who, she was somewhat chunky. He loved her for, 7 months, and he had his first child with her. The child was born without any eyes. I think this would be an ending piece. Yes, this is definitely a curtain drawing piece. It is expressing something about a disinterest in continuing, the session. So, yes, I hit it right on, yes, the hammer right on the head of the nail. I think that's what that one says. So, yes, and with that, fine, and yes.
Finished?
I will be discussing an interpretation of this lad's faces. He has lost all means of expressing himself through verbal communication, and we are now going to discuss what it is he does with his face to communicate. Thank you. He'd like to begin by saying, he's very happy that you all could come out here this evening. He's going straight to discuss the early emanations of hate he has had for a family member. I'm not sure what is it? Oh, his sister, yes. At the age of 2, I think it is, he had found that his sister was gouging his fingernails with long spines. I'm not sure what that one is. Oh, no, we are not, silly. We're discussing grandmother's use of exercise, you know, to lure young, unsuspecting women into her lair. Now, this is peculiar. I believe he's discussing the homosexual qualities of his grandmother here. Starting, he's seen pictures with her with women at some kind of carnival. I'm not sure what. At a county fair, he had seen his grandmother with another lady. The kissing booth was meant for men, and his grandmother went to the kissing booth. Now, from an earlier session, I believe we were discussing, his grandmother had kept a collection of pictures that he was privy to. Now, these pictures were not, while not being disturbing to him, made him question. He'd rather not discuss that. He's more interested in talking about his carnal desires for large-assed women. He likes, yes, it seems he likes the women to wear underwear that are about 3 sizes too small, so that the cellulite will bulge from out the sides of the panties. Yes. He likes, but preferably if they've been powdered, Chanel number 5 powder. His mother was known to wear Chanel number 5, so we're not sure if it's some type of edible complex or what. His grandmother's underwear was bloody to him. He collected it, and when he was alone, he found himself placing it within his mouth. This left him paralyzed with joy, and it was hours. It was hours before he was found by his father. And you're not interested? I see. He is now no longer interested in discussing his longing to return to the days of collecting sullied grandmother underwear. And are you sure? He's talking here about his age of 12 when he was in gym class. He had soiled himself while showering after a game after a game of dodgeball. The boys, what was that? The boys gathered round him, flailing him with their used jock straps, as he tried to collect the remnants that had fallen to the ground. He could not collect them all, seeing as it is some loose-formed defecation, and so he just slipped upon the ground as they beat him with their jock straps. I'm not sure what he's getting at something else. This is where the cheerleaders came in on him, and he was somehow pinned to the champion because of all the other fellows gathered around him. The women lifted him up on his shoulders, gave a cheer. Yes, all cheer for beer. Yes, it was cheer for beer. Yes, and I got that part. I already explained that to them. So I guess what he was trying to say is that he has made out quite well with the women in his early years, and not just with women, but with how should I say, a fulfillment of a strong fantasy life, and
That was a right
yes, he says his toes on this house and so with that we'll say